in this particular case, the ATF agent decides to open it up for us, in front of us.
And what were his first words? Oh, there she is.
Welcome to Access Granted, a peek inside the real-life stories of physical security professionals. Now, here are your hosts, Justin, Cricket, Ryan, and Brandon.
And welcome back. We are here today to talk to you about some safe stories, some of the horrible things we have seen come with people trying to open their own safes or just kind of what's in them. We're going to kick it off here. We have Cricket again as a special guest with us today.
Chirp, chirp.
His signature sound. And right, so we're going to start off today by trying to keep your attention with one of the oddest, funniest, I guess you could say. I mean, funny because it wasn't our family situations. Yeah. So I would say 8-9 years ago, I
think this was around the same. I think this was within the same week as the last story we did about the first time you did an Aaron's Open. I don't know if we told that one yet, but I think it was one of your first month of working at the shop.
Yeah, because my grandmother, who has since passed, could not wrap her head around that it was, well, I don't want to ruin the story, so we'll just get to it. So go ahead, Justin.
Around 3:50 one day, we're all sitting in the shop, and this was, like I said, it was about 10 years ago, 8-10 years ago. Some plainclothes ATF agents walk in the shop, and they ask us, can you guys get into safes? And we said, we do it daily. Not a big deal. They're like, okay, well, I've got a safe in the back of my car. I'm going to bring it in. I want you to open it. And it's not normally part of our thing to ask what's going on or who's going in there. But this ATF agent was very talkative. Very talkative. They had a case where they were trying to try this guy, and they needed evidence, and they had a search warrant for this safe, but he wouldn't give up the combination, and they needed it open because they were going to they're putting the guy on trial.
He apparently had stolen this safe. It belonged to a girlfriend or ex-wife or whatever the relationship was there, but he had stolen this safe among many other things, and they needed to get it open because there was something special that they were looking for.
Yeah, we didn't ask too many questions. It wasn't a very big safe. I think it was an old
Honeywell
or Century type safe. And in those situations, it was a dial combination. I drilled a small 1/4-inch hole. I scoped it open. The whole time, this ATF agent is just shocked at how easily we got into this thing, which is, I mean, it was fairly easy stuff. I scoped it open, we dial it open, and 99% of the time, it is not our purview to figure out what's inside your safe.
We, by law, are not even the first ones to open your safe. We will get it to the point where it can open. You physically open the door yourself. So
it's just like when we open houses, we don't open the door. We get it to the point where it can be open, but we don't open it. And this, in this particular case, the ATF agent decides to open it up for us, in front of us.
And what were his first words? Oh, there she is. And we just all kind of stop and look at each other. And he reaches down and he pulls out a
body.
Big,
he pulled out a body.
Thick plastic bag full of ashes. This woman had her mother stored in her safe. And this man had stolen it, and the only thing that this woman was concerned about getting back was her mother's ashes. So in a federal case, we have opened safes to find dead bodies. Now, my grandmother, who has since passed, could not wrap her head around that there was not a full body in this safe. It was just ashes. But for years, she just would love to be so proud of her grandchildren and tell all her friends, I opened a safe with a dead body in it.
So we've taken up the mantle, and we also tell people we've opened safes with dead bodies in it.
Yeah, why not?
It was a weird thing because they didn't even, other than the ashes, they didn't find anything else that was incriminating against this guy. And then my grandfather went around, and he didn't even charge the ATF. And what we got in return for this critical piece of evidence being opened via search warrant, we did make sure they had a search warrant, was an ATF mug. I don't even know if that was that cool.
we didn't even all get one. They only gave one to our grandfather who
sat in his office the whole time.
Yeah, so we didn't even get a cool ATF mug. So there's your government tax dollars at work. So we also, if you guys ever want to come down to the showroom, there's some pictures online, but it's best to come down and talk to us. We do have a lot of safes. We have home safes, office safes, wall safes. Gun safes is a major one that we like to carry, protect your Second Amendment and ours. With that, there are many types of different styles of safes.
Let's just kind of go down the list here and kind of tell you what a safe is, how long they've been around, commercially viable, and what are we trying, what do we carry, and what are we trying to do when we open them. Safes have been around for a long time. They started out as lock boxes. You have companies like Chubb, that is the legal business name. It's a company out of England that makes safes, and Chubb International makes some really, really good safes to this day, and they've been around since the late 1700s, early 1800s. And then you have Herring Hall Marvin, you have Mosler, you have Lefebvre, McGunn, you have a lot of other safe manufacturers that have built different types of locking containers since basically commercially since the late 1800s, mid 1800s. We've got things like cannonball safes. We've got things like just steel boxes that are made to hold cash. We've got fireproof and fire-rated safes. Over the years, as they've gotten more and more sophisticated, we've even gotten now newer safes that open electronically and open for you, or electromechanical safes, which we work and use for the government. Safes as a whole are just a locking box, in the most part. Safes are delineated from vault doors by the fact that they're a separate container. It's a small box or a large box or a room that is of itself its own sealed container that has a locking device on it.
And if anyone wants to nerd out, 1873, James Sargent. He was the first one to complete a lock that's ran by a timer. So he was the first one to create something for your bank vaults that would open on a time delay.
It's a clockwork mechanism.
Yes. And then if you really want to nerd out again, you have John, I'm going to butcher this last name, Jungkook. In 1910, he was the first one to patent the first single dial combination lock. So what you are most commonly probably used to today, a little knob on the front with numbers that you spin around. That has been around for 114 years now.
Yeah, and for the most part, like you see your old bank robberies or train robberies from the Wild West, those safes were key to operation. They had a day key and a renter's key or a teller's key at that point that would be run. One would be held by the bank manager, one by each by a teller. And then in the ones that we see where we see the big cannonballs and all, those are coming into the late 1900s, early 1900s to mid to late 19-teens, where you see some of the bigger ones. And then, of course, we also have bank vaults or vault doors, which are just safe doors that are man-sized that allow people to secure specific rooms. Ryan, you want to go through what you would do normally to defeat a safe, and is it something that the customer can expect for us to get into fairly quickly?
And what is GSA, and go into what it took to get GSA certified to do government work, if you would, sir.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to explain most of that. I'll let Justin do it. But GSA is always the government type safes that are either a filing cabinet with electronic lock or electromechanical, thank you, that's the term I was looking for, which are very easy to mess up. And so most of the time when I have to open them is because somebody installed it incorrectly. But they also are the hardest lock to drill into because the government wants everything as safe as possible, so they put the hardest metal in there that they can possibly find. And it takes special drill bits, special carbide and diamond-tipped hole saws. It's just a real pain in the butt to get into most GSA-certified safes.
Now, when he's saying GSA, Government Service Administration, the government uses these containers or safes to hold secret and above information. So what they're doing is it's either going to be on a vault door, a weapons container to hold weapons. It's going to hold a filing cabinet that's going to hold secret hard copies of secret information, or it's going to be an IPS container, a computer container that's locking up specific computers that are accessing the government information. The training there, I know, Ryan, you went to Lockmasters for that class. It was a 2-week course, of which a lot of it was review for you. I know it was for me when I went to
Mark Bates.
Yes, thank you. Mark Bates. I remember Mark Bates Institute. We went to the 2 places that are certified to do this. It was definitely a good thing because it definitely cemented in both of our minds that we knew what we were doing. We had a little bit more experience than even some of the instructors when it comes to opening safe containers. But yeah, part of the defeat of the safe is to defeat the locking bolts. And Ryan does 90% of our safe opening at the shop. I know sometimes he doesn't like it, but sometimes he does. He definitely still likes the challenge. I can see it on his face some days. And other days he's like, I'm done.
I love the challenge of them. I hate doing every single one.
I get that, yeah. So, number one thing we tell people where not to put the combination. Cricket, I can let you answer this one.
That would be inside the safe itself.
Because it does no one any good. Where else, Brandon, would we not want to put a combination to a safe?
Oh, sorry, I was spacing out with thought of there. I'm sorry.
Inside another safe.
Yeah, inside another safe. Yeah, inside the door, inside the safe. Something we haven't gotten into yet, the quality of the safe.
With that being said, we should probably go over the difference between the safes that we sell versus the safes that you're going to find at the big box store. So some of those safes that we're going to find at the big box stores are just cash boxes. So especially if you're looking at a gun safe at a big box store, that gun safe is, if it sounds hollow, and it is hollow, that is just a gun box. That is just what's referred to as a B-rated cash box. And at this point, it's just going to offer you a minimal security to the device.
We'll have bullets flying as soon as that thing heats up.
Yep, it will cause that. Now, the next thing is, if it's insulated, you want to look at that insulation rating. That fire rating should be at least 60, if not 90 minutes. Now, we do offer some gun safes because we have to compete with the big box stores. We do offer some gun safes with 45-minute ratings, but we don't recommend those gun safes hold ammunition. With that being said, that safe, if you want security, should have at minimum a 1/4-inch thick steel door along with the insulation. And that should be on all 6 points, which means all 6 sides, front, back, and top, and both sides and top and bottom. And the gun safes that we sell through Holland are assembled in America. You can't get too much things that are 100% made in America. There are a few. Gardall's one of them. But we find the price point that we can get through for the customer through Holland and the availability through Holland to be really good. And we've got some really good safes, and we can run the gamut through small pistol safes all the way up to 45 and 54 gun safes where they weigh over 1,200 to 1,400 pounds that can be put in your basement. We will deliver some of those, and it will make more likely on those big ones. We're going to require a site survey to make sure that we can get it to where it needs to be.
That being said, we do have to give a little shout out to Art. He's a great man, but boy did he put us through the ringer with a 45 gun safe on the first snow of the day, or first snow of the year, on a trailer, down a hill, through a wooden fence, taking a sliding glass door out and putting it in between a bunch of video game pinball machines.
And only 3 feet between the gravel and the pool.
Yes, yes. Oh, and I forgot about this. Yes, a covered in-ground pool that we were having to manipulate this kind of over. But we got it in, and it kind of really tested. That was our first major giant safe that we put in without our grandfather, and it really kind of solidified that, yeah, we can, because he was having us call a few moving companies as he got older.
I think that was mostly just him not wanting to deal with it.
I can tell you that 100%. That's what it's for. But it kind of solidified that, yeah, we are what's the word I'm looking? Ingenuitive. Is that right?
No, we know what we're doing.
Yes, we know what we're doing. But anyway, we know about safes. So if you want to come down to the shop, we know safes. So come on down, talk to us, 1304 West 4th Street, Davenport, Iowa. Give us a call at 563-322-0123. Anybody got anything else to say? If not, we will see you guys in another 2 weeks where we will be talking about the very generic keys. We're going to kind of hit that in all different aspects of safe keys, car keys, house keys. Dimple keys. Keys, man.
Keys,
So,
keys.
So we will see you guys in 2 weeks, and we are out of here.
Thanks for listening to Access Granted, a podcast by J&J Access and Security in association with TAG. For more information about J&J Access and Security, visit jjlocks.com.